As an old favorite, International Flavors and Fragrances has gotten its groove back. Regular viewers might remember that this designer of scents and taste for all sorts of industries used to be an incredibly consistent performer. But then the story fell apart. IFF did a couple of difficult acquisitions, I call them, then got hit hard by the pandemic, ultimately cycling through a couple of different CEOs. From its high in August of 2021 to its lows a year ago, the stock lost 60% of its value. Over the past year, though, it's come back with a vengeance. They've fixed the portfolio, they've cleaned up the balance sheet, and they've got good execution again, thanks in part to a new CEO. Now it looks like IFS finally delivering consistent performance again, too. After the close tonight, the company reported a 17-cent earnings beat off a 99-cent basis with higher than expected sales. So how did they pull this off, despite a challenging environment for many of their end markets? Let's go straight to the source with Eric Fyrwald. He's the CEO of International Flavors and Fragrances. A little more. Mr. Fyrwald, welcome to Mad Money.
Thanks, Jim. Great to be here.
Well, I am thrilled to have IFF back and to have you on the show. This had been one of the most consistent companies. Maybe you can give a little bit of history, storied history about your company and what you're trying to steer it toward.
Sure. First of all, IFF stands for International Flavors and Fragrances, as you know, historically, and 135-year-old company. Grew up in flavors and fragrances, and then 6 years ago, as you know, started on an acquisition spree.
Yeah.
And over the last 6 years, there's been a lot of acquisitions and divestitures, a lot of corporate programs to try to get synergies, a lot of consultants and advisors, and just a lot of confusion and complexity.
It was very hard to understand what the company was doing.
Yeah, so since January, we've really tried to simplify things, get back to basics, and really focus on winning with customers. 5 business units, clear authority, end-to-end authority in each of the business units, and basic focus on customers, bring world-leading innovation, drive productivity, and take care of our people.
Okay, so scent 37%, taste 57%. Tell me, did you keep a lot of those clients? You had the best client list in the world.
And we still have a great client list.
Good.
So for the last 7 months, I've traveled all around the world, and I've met with more than a third of our customer revenue base. A lot of top-to-top meetings talking about what we've been doing with them and then what the opportunities are going forward. And I tell you, we're still on the core lists.
Right.
We're still with them. We still got great people. And we're just unleashing our people to work even closer with the customers to bring better innovation.
Okay, so let's say I know PepsiCo use you for hot taste. Hot is something that you guys do. A lot of people that may not understand that there are companies that their product would taste very differently if it weren't for IFF.
Oh yeah, so spicy.
That's you.
Potato chips or any kind of chips, but also we bring better health. We help companies reduce salt dramatically. So in chips, for example, you can reduce salt by 25, 30%, still have the same taste with our flavors, and have the great new taste that the consumers love, that grow the business.
Now, are you still getting those exotic scents from, say, flowers in Tahiti, like last night while we were watching the surfing? You still going and getting this stuff?
From all over the world, we get naturals for both our scent business and our flavors business, because that's another great trend. Consumers want naturals, and they want them to have great scents and great flavors.
So the big perfume company stuck by you?
Yes, and we have great perfumers. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story. So one of the top beauty companies in the world, the CEO, when I first got there, asked me to come over to France and have lunch with him. And we sat down with lunch. There was just 3 of us, our person that runs our fine fragrance business, the CEO and I. And he said, I'll give you one piece of advice. Keep your leading perfumers, your master perfumers. They're golden. They're what makes our company great. I said, we're going to do that.
Well, explain that to people, because it's kind of like brewmeisters. These are people all their lives. They have an amazing nose. They know more about the smell and taste. They also, I think, know what kind of taste that you were growing up with, so that they can reminisce those. I mean, they also know what smell Elizabeth Taylor had, because she was a great spokesperson for things that you did.
Yeah, there's nothing more important than our perfumers and our flavorists. Right. So our perfumers get a brief, and our flavorists also get a brief from the fragrance company that says they want to perfume a new scent to have evoke a certain emotion, whether it's joy or energy or relax. And the perfumers know how to put together the molecules to achieve that. And it's really amazing. And now with AI tools, it's even more powerful what they can do. And I'll just give you an example. So our perfumers were asked by Charlotte Tilbury to help her develop a new line of fragrances. one that was bringing joy, one that was bringing energy, one that's bringing romance, one that's bringing relaxation. And we did it with something called the IFF Scent Cube, which has more than 5 billion data points. So we could help her develop these different scents that evoke these different emotions. And they've been extremely powerful. And she's out on TikTok talking about how she's worked with IFF to make that happen.
Well, that's fabulous, because I think that you were absent from the mix for about a half dozen years. Yeah. And I was almost afraid to figure out, try to get my hands dirty in IFF, because it wasn't clear where you're going to go biologics, where you're going to go pure nutrition, whether you were going to go or lost major big food companies. It sounds like you kept the large companies intact that you want, and that you did have to cut the dividend.
Yes.
But that, I guess, was prudent given the acquisitions and the balance sheet, huh?
Well, that was my first day as an IFF CEO.
How tough is that? Because IFF had a pristine reputation with that dividend.
Yeah, but we were borrowing money to pay the dividends.
That's never good.
And we were cutting R&D spend. We were cutting CapEx that we needed to invest in our growth businesses. You know, we've got 3 world-class businesses in flavors, in our scent business, in our health and biosciences, and we weren't investing enough in them. So we cut the dividend. We explained to investors that we're going to take that cash and invest it in growing our businesses. Well, bringing more innovation.
That's exactly the old IFF that I know I loved and championed since the mid-'80s. That's how long I've loved the company. But I did have to go dark for a while because I didn't understand what they were doing. I want to thank Erik Fyrwald. He's the International Flavors and Fragrances IFF CEO. Guys, if these guys are back, I got to tell you, the runway here is very, very long with multiple years. Mad Money's back after the break.